divide by it, but we can't do that. Yeah. So if I had a problem like, what's this one? Where'd it go? There. So I had this problem. So you're not gonna take a 2 out of everything. That would be silly. I only want to take a 2 out of my x stuff. So really, one way to look at completing the square is it takes all your miscellaneous x stuff, combines it into one little piece, right? So the 3, that's just going to be out there. It's going to become part of this k dude, right? So this always freaks people out a little bit because we're not, the question here isn't factor this. So we're not factoring it. We're putting it in that form. So I could take a 2 out of these, leave some room inside, and just move the 3 over. Bam.
Would be 4x.
Yeah, probably would be 4x. Thank you. So you're not taking a 2 out of everybody. You're just taking whatever this is out of these first 2, out of all the x terms. Because then you want to complete the square and get all your x stuff into one little compact piece. So that 2, though, is going to screw us up. Is there really a negative 4x in this? No, there's really a negative 8x, right? I like it. So whatever number I put here, that's not what I'm actually doing. This is where things... So in the last problem, I put a plus 4 and then I put a minus 4. Because that's what I really did. I really added 4. So here, what are the 2 steps to figure out what has to go here?
Negative 4.
Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. And then square negative 2, negative 4 like we did before. But now... when I put a plus 4 here, I'm actually adding 8. All right? If you brought the 2 back in, this would be a plus 8 up here. That was nice. I like that. Right? Do you guys see that? So then what do I have to subtract over here, of course, to undo what I just did? I got a minus 8. So that would cancel. So that's one thing I tell people is you can go to the line before and put 2 times that plus 8, and then you have to minus 8 to make it go away. People kind of freak out, though. They're like, I didn't add 8. I added 4, Jeff. You added twice 4. Right? If you multiply this through, that is 8. So then you better subtract 8 at the same time. All right, let me see what you guys think about that. So if there would have been a negative 3 here, and I put a 4 there, what did I actually just do? Minus 12. So I better at the same time put plus 12 on the outside. Oh, shit. Okay.
So it's x minus 2 squared.
Yeah, so now, some of you guys are just like, can you keep going, please? I thought maybe there were some questions. So we know how this factors, x minus 2 squared, and over here we get minus 5. I like it. So to check yourself, you just FOIL it out, double everything, minus 5, and you will end up back to where you were to begin with. If you put a minus 4 here, you wouldn't. Yes?
So you always do the opposite sign? So if you add or...
Well, just like we did before, since we're doing it all to the same side, if I add something, I have to at the same time subtract it so that overall I didn't do anything. I like it. So now I can see, what's the vertex?
2 and negative 5.
Yeah, 2, negative 5. Does it open up or down? It opens up. Is it going to be fatter or skinnier than normal? Skinnier, because it's going to go up faster. Go up faster makes it skinny. I like it. Yes?
You have the 2 because of the negative 2? And
Yes.
The opposite sign?
Yeah, not because of that. Yeah. I like it.
What about the y intercept?
Okay, what's the y intercept? Yeah, I knew from the beginning it was 0, 3, right? If you did it here, you get the same 0, negative 2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8, minus 5 is 3. But it just takes you longer. I just, where's 3? Because I have this form. That form is really good for y-intercept. Yes, ma'am?
I'm confused with the y-intercept. How do you get the y-intercept 0?
How do you always find the y-intercept? You make what? How do you find the y-intercept? You make x 0. There. And when I make x 0, what do I get? 0, 0. I get 3. Yep. That's it. Y-intercept is always going to be 0, comma something.
Oh.
Because if it wasn't a 0, that means I would have moved away from the y-axis. It can't be a y-intercept then.
It has to be 0 all the time? Like
Yes.
that?
Yes. If y-intercept, that's how you find it, is make x 0. But also, how am I make sure that I'm going to be on the y-axis? I don't want to move left and right at all. So I want that to be 0, so I don't move away from the axis. I like it. And of course, vice versa for the x-intercept. We can find the x-intercepts. Set this equal to 0, add 5, divide by 2, take the square root. I mean, right? I mean, we've already done that several times, so maybe. Okay, so do you want to do that or what? We can do it. What's up?
Yeah, can you do it?
Sure. All right. You guys help me. How do I find the x-intercept?
Set it equals to your axis.
So what equal to 0? Yeah, so make a 0 here. Make the y 0. All right, now solve that, right? That's what I mean. That, by right now, that should be relatively simple to solve that. Please don't multiply this out, right? We should know better than that. So how do we solve this? Add 5, divide by 2, take the square root, and then add 2. So you get x equals 2, give or take, square root of 5 halves. I like some of the looks I'm getting. What's up? So you add 5, divide by 2, take a square root to kill the square. So you get x minus 2 equals this, add 2. So no, I didn't show every step there. Okay. And then you can put that in a calculator if you needed to, so you can graph it easier, right? You can make a little decimal. Yeah.
Why isn't it like 2 plus or minus square root of 5 like all over 2?
Oh, okay. All right. Let's do this all. So add 5, right? Now divide both sides by 2, right? And that's why. And then square root. So you get plus or minus square root of 5 halves equals x minus 2. And then I add 2. So 2 is just 2. This is the stuff that was divided by 2. 2 didn't give a crap about it because it was inside the square. It wasn't being affected. I like it. So that x equals 2 plus or minus root of 5 halves. Cool. Okay. So that's what you do. And the example number 2 on the handout I just gave you goes over an example with a different number out front. Yeah. Let's do another one real quick. Let's see. So we got what they want from this here. More than you wanted? Okay. You do it, Jeff. Sure. All right. Gross. Sorry. So what's the first thing I do? Yeah, so really think about it like the first thing you do is get A out there, right? It's really what you're doing. So you factor negative 3 out of all the x stuff. And you leave the plus 5 alone. So then you're left with plus 8x. I like it. So whatever I put there is not really what I'm doing to the function. I'm doing negative 3 times that. So, I mean, there's a few different ways to do this. Now, I'm going to do this real quick because we've done enough of this, hopefully. Half of 8 is 4. 4 squared is 16. So over here, you can always just do this. You can say minus what A is times what you just wrote in there. If you need to. You can just always do that. Or, personally, I just go, what I really just did is I subtracted 48, so I better add 48, which is what this works out to be, plus 48. Right? So I'd rather just go, what did I really just do? I just subtracted 48. So I better add 48. So I get negative 3. This, of course, factors. Half of A was 4, so that's how that factors. And then I get 5 plus 48. I like it. This would be a little bit gross to graph. But it opens which way? Down. Opens down. Vertex is
Negative 4.
yeah, negative 4. 53. I like it. And, you know, the y-intercept we knew already.
0, 5.
Yep. Y-intercept is 0, 5. X-intercept, you set this equal to 0, subtract 53, divide by 3, take a square root.
Why is the vertex negative 4 again?
Oh, because my x's all can be 4 less than they used to be, because the first thing I do is add 4 to it. So if it's in with the variable, it's always opposite from what this does. It's a lot like what we do with synthetic division. It's like what we do when we solve equal to 0. The answer would be x equals negative 4. It's kind of all semi-related, right? And this one just makes it go up 53 directly. Right? So this is a little bit subversive. It says I'm going to add 4 to whatever you put in there, and I'm like, well, I'm going to put 4 less than I was going to put in there. So that's why it's negative 4. Just to counteract. I like it. Okay. And like I said, the x-intercepts, hopefully, you get the process for that. Okay, maybe. All right, so here's what's going to happen. We've done everything now, just about for the first 4 sections. So this is a little practice sheet that goes over the first 4 sections of Chapter 11. The last 2 sections, we'll see about getting into those. Let me see. Let me start this way. So, as always,